Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to all the Purva Acharyas. And I pay my obeisances to the 12 Avars of the Sri Ramanuj Sampradaya. I welcome all of you locally here at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that's watching this discourse locally, nationally and internationally. And I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted in the various groups from around the world subsequently. We continue on this important absolute science as depicted in the Vedas, which is the ultimate knowledge to man in relation to himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and material nature and all his activities in this material universe. So it is this knowledge that becomes the focal point of your very existence in the material universe. This knowledge gives you countless births, or the absence of this knowledge keeps you imprisoned in the material universe, and the enlightenment of this knowledge releases you from the material universe. And this knowledge, the most beneficial to humankind, which includes scientists of all categories, medical science of all categories, and everything related to material nature, whereby when one learns and applies this knowledge in their life, then living in the material world won't be so miserable. This knowledge is called knowledge of the three modes of material nature. And modes in Sanskrit is called Gunas, and Gunas in Sanskrit also means to tie or bind you. So I'm spending quite a few weeks and quite a few hours on these discourses, because I believe that if I discourse comprehensively, and the fact that we are using social media platforms, that this knowledge is stored on both Facebook, WhatsApp, and YouTube. And maybe not today, but when anyone from any part of the world wants information on the three gunas, then I have done my bit as a guru from the Sri Sampradaya in making sure that I have discoursed in the most comprehensive way and simultaneously with the most basic examples to make a professor and a layman understand the three gunas equally. So this is why I am breaking it up in small pieces, and I'm explaining to the very best of my ability on how the three gunas operate within this material universe and what the consequences of these three gunas when they bind you are. So on Thursday, I asked you to imagine that Lord Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is a huge warehouse, and this warehouse is divided into 4 parts. In 3 parts of this warehouse, there are filaments or filaments from the globe that are continuously on and bright and shining, in that they represent bliss. But in 1/4 of this warehouse, these filaments come on periodically and go off periodically, and come on periodically and go off periodically. And I explained that in this 1/4 of Lord Narayan's body, creation takes place, cause and effect of creation takes place. So Lord Narayan is the cause of material creation, and he is also the effect of material creation. And the effect of material creation is represented through one of his modes called material nature. And this effect is brought into animation by his other mode called the living entity or the individual soul. So when you combine the living entity, which is the individual soul, together with material nature, then that gives rise to material creation in multiple universes within the body of Lord Shiva and Narayan. So this is what I have explained on Thursday. Today, I want to further this explanation, and again, although my analogy might be crude, it might not be absolute, but for understanding purposes, I use various analogies and bring it right down to the basic. So I want you today to understand a meter. How many of you have seen either ammeters or voltmeters? Meters on battery chargers, meters that have a needle, and meters that needle is sleeping on one end. Sometimes it can go midpoint, sometimes it can sleep on the other end, sometimes it can sleep in between midpoint and the left, and sometimes it can stop in between midpoint and the right. How many of you have seen? Dana is the first to put his hands up. That won't get him in my good books. Dana comes from the police force, and he has not lost his bribery and corruption habits. So, have you seen this meter? Have you all seen these meters, males and females? And our future multi-millionaire heiress from Vast Aircon, Tiveshni. Have you seen a meter where a needle goes there, then a needle goes there, then a needle goes there, then sometimes the needle just... Have you seen that meter? The erratic movement of the needle. All of you all have seen? Everyone? Okay. So I want you to envision this meter with 3 colors. With 3 colors of your choice. Alright? Any color that you like. And I want you to divide this meter with these 3 colors in such a way that each color overlaps half of the other color. I can hear krr, krr, crack. Brains are cracking. First time in your life. First time in your life, now the brain is thinking spiritually. Have you all got that? Let's see who's intelligent here in my class. So, how many segments do we now have in this meter? No, I gave you 3 colors. Then I said each color must overlap.
6.
No. Okay, now I'm going to let's do it together. You got a meter with a white blank screen, right? Now we divided, we got 3 colors. The first color is red. Now we take in the next color, blue. We are now overlapping half of the blue. Okay, let's overlap 1/3. We are overlapping 1/3 of the blue on the red. You're overlapping 1/3 of the blue on the red. And so how many segments we got now? 3. We got the red, the overlapping color between red and blue, and we got blue. Then let's take yellow, and let's take 1/3 of the yellow and place it on the blue. So how many segments we got? 5. How many segments we got? 5. So we got red and a mixture of red and blue. Then we got a mixture of blue and yellow, and then we got yellow. And then we got a needle in the center. We got a needle in the center. So the needle can either be in the red, play in the red, or play in the red and blue, or play in the blue, or play in the blue and yellow. In the blue and yellow. Okay? Have you reached this state yet now? Are you understanding? You can see this needle. We can't make this needle red because you already got red color. So what color you want to make this needle?
Green.
Green. Okay. Now this green needle will jump from this end to that end, to the middle, to in between, and it's always going to be moving. It's always going to be moving. And what is this needle called? This needle will now represent your mind. This needle will now represent your mind. You see? You experienced your mind anytime? Not spiritually. Okay. So let me explain this part to Rishi now. Right? The mind is always oscillating. It's always oscillating. It is always in movement. It is always in movement. Rishi? It is always accepting, rejecting, accepting, rejecting, accepting, rejecting. Isn't it? Rishi? Should I have material spirit, spiritual spirit? Material spirit, spiritual spirit. Material spirit, spiritual spirit. So you have experienced both, Rishi, because by you being here, you are spiritually spirited. Okay? And on Diwali day you was materially spiritually. Because the mind was telling you material spirit, spiritual spirit. Who won? Rishi? Who won? Material spirit. Material spirit won on Diwali day, didn't it? Rishi? Yes. Yes. Because you brought up the topic. Your mind have not experienced spirituality yet, and I'm showing you how it has experienced spirituality. Rishi is a real Rishi, Rishi. Alright? Because he experienced both material spirit and spiritual spirit. Okay? His parents didn't name him Rishi by mistake. He's the Rishi of the Vedas. He's the Rishi of the Vedas. And we are honored to have our own Rishi at the Sri Narayan Dham. Look at Shanti looking at him like for the first time, hey, we have a real Rishi. Okay? Are we understanding now? I want you now to place this meter inside your mind, above your brain, in between your brain and your mind. The mind takes its seat on the brain. Take this meter, imagine these 3 colors and these 5 segments, and place that needle will now represent the dictation of your mind. The needle will dictate the movement of your mind, and the movement of your mind will dictate the movement of your body. Because the brain has powers, sensory powers for all your motor reflexes. All your motor reflexes. These motor reflexes are imputed through thinking, and the mind is responsible for thinking, willing and feeling. Thinking, Rishi, willing and feeling. And let's go back to Rishi. Thinking, willing and feeling. Thinking means that Rishi is thinking of 2 types of spirits: material spirit, spiritual spirit. Material spirit, spiritual spirit, that's called thinking, where he is contemplating. Alright? Then willing. Then willing. So before Diwali he willed and he won. On Diwali day he willed and he fell. Willing means willing the mind to stay in spiritual spirit and not material spirit. And subsequently, Bhabhi, I hope he has been willing in spiritual spirit. By staying in spiritual spirit, the mind has willed you to do that. And that willing has come from the mind, because the function of willing emanates from the mind, which you call will power. You heard people saying he has a strong willpower. That willpower takes its birth from the mind. You see? So you used your mind to think, you used your mind to will, and immediately after Diwali, Rishi felt very bad. Because the mind is used for feeling. So when Rishi realized that he lost his willpower and went from spiritual spirit to material spirit, he was depressed, he wasn't happy. I let my guru down. And he had a remorseful feeling. Because feelings are experienced through the instrument of the mind. So you understand now? First, Rishi thought, then he became spiritual, then he willed, he remained spiritual, then his willing weakened and he thought again and he became material, and then he was remorseful, which is a feeling, and he became spiritual again. One great Rishi. Look at how many dimensions our own South African Rishi Muni underwent. He can write his own Vedas. The Rishi Veda of Ashoval. Rishi, I went past your house yesterday. I didn't know in which spirit you'll be. Okay? All of you understand that the mind is used for thinking, willing, and feeling. The mind is used for thinking, willing, and feeling. These three components of your material life is governed by your mind. And this mind is fitted within the parameters of the three gunas. And the three gunas become your meter. The three gunas become your meter. So if you got your red color, that will represent Satagun, then you got a convergence between your blue guna, which will represent Rajogun. That where the two colors meet will be your mixed influence of the three gunas. Your mixed influence of the three gunas. And then you got yellow for Tamogun, and the conversions of yellow and blue will give you your mixed influence of Rajo and Tamogun. Are you understanding? Now every mind is fitted with this meter of the three gunas. Every mind is fitted with this meter of the three gunas. Are you understanding? Again, a computer game is calibrated by the technician who created this game, or the creator, in a specific manner for a specific result. Okay? So if you get a computer game, you also computer games, tennis. You also tennis in computer. So in that tennis match in a computer game, have you all seen a wrestling match in computer games? And you all seen a tennis match in computer games. The tennis match is created only for playing of tennis. And it can only reach a certain amount of levels of play, and it has to stop. You cannot manipulate from the outside that dimension that is computed within that game. Can you? Can you? Can you make one of the players a tennis player and the other player now a wrestler? Why you can't? Because that program does not allow the convergence of these two programs. Each program is independent and individual. Each game is individual, and each game is created. It has a limiting capacity. Each game is limited. You cannot change the game that the creator created. You can only play the game. You cannot change the game, you can only play that game. Are you understanding? So if you play tennis, you can only play tennis, and if you master the game, then you can be a winner in tennis. By continuously playing the game and you master the game, you can be a winner, or you can, if you do not master the game, you can be a loser. So you have independence as an individual playing the game, either to be a winner or to be a loser, or to be neutral, or to be neutral. You can win 50 games and you can lose 50 games. You understand, Rishi? Where you saw a satsang, Rishi, where the Guru talks about tennis match, wrestling match, material spirits and spiritual spirits. Rishi? Okay. So we are at this point, but I want to welcome our guest, our baby, all right? It is not her fault that she does not attend satsang regularly, and you know everything is governed by the three gunas and karma, all right? So maybe her parents will get right one of the days, who knows? Baby is absolutely innocent. Our baby is absolutely innocent, and when she gets big enough, she'll phone Uber and come to satsang on Thursdays and Sundays. All right. So we'll wait. Welcome, both of you. Okay. Are we in understanding now, Suks? I'm just explaining the three gunas, and I said that the mind is like a meter. It has, we painted three colors in the meter, blue, and we started with red, and then we overlapped 1/3 of the blue on the red, and we overlapped 1/3 of the yellow on the blue. So this is a meter now we're saying that has a, what color needle? Green needle, and the green needle is called the mind, and that meter is called the three gunas, all right? And we said every human that takes his birth, this meter is embedded in the mind. Every human takes their birth, this meter is embedded in their mind, all right? Now we saying that we have all witnessed computer games, and I gave an example, and I said there's tennis matches you see on the computer game. If you master the game, you can become the winner. If you half master the game, then you and your opponent may have 50% of winning the game, and if you don't master the game, then you'll be a loser, all right? Then we said there's also a wrestling game on the other side. You cannot take the wrestling game and mix it in the tennis match. You can't take one player from the tennis and replace it with one player from wrestling, because the wrestling game was created and computed specifically for that program, and the tennis game was created and computed specifically for this program. But in both these games, you have a freedom of winning, a freedom of losing, and a freedom of staying in the same position. Okay? Now these games that was computed by a creator, he created it with knowledge in terms of his merits, in terms of his own intellectual capacity, because he created these games. Now, these meters that are fitted in each human, these meters are created by your merits. These mind meters that is computed or embedded in your mind, each meter is created by God, but as per your merits. Do you understand? And your merits come from a previous lifetime and many previous lifetimes. So in this lifetime, that meter that is now embedded in your mind is to enjoy and suffer the consequences of your previous lifetime. To win and to lose in this game as per your own merits of a previous lifetime. Are you understanding? So, whatever you're going through life at the moment, this meter is already embedded in your mind. This meter is already embedded in your mind. Now let's go back to the tennis game. Let's go back to the tennis game. Let's start the tennis game. As soon as you start the tennis game, what factor kicks in? The time factor. What factor kicks in? The time factor. Then within the time factor, you got your game got what? Handles or buttons?
Buttons.
Okay, Tibeshni got the most sophisticated games in the heres, alright? And I'm saying heres of vast air conditioning. And the reason why we know she's a heiress, because she brought an instrument in my kutir. And Tibeshni, what was the instrument?
Hairbrush.
What kind of hairbrush?
It was a big hairbrush.
Was it a big hairbrush or was it a hair straightener?
It was a hairbrush.
A huge hairbrush. I think about Sophie, alright? And look at how little bit hair she has on her head. And this is why I'm saying the hair rest. Or should I say, air rest of vast air. Or hair rest of vast hair. Okay? So she has a very sophisticated game. She presses, it plays with buttons. So as soon as you start the game, is the result of the game already predestined in the game? Is it pre-computed in the game? Yes or no?
Yes.
Not your game. Not your personal game. The whole program itself. Is the result pre-computed or not? Suggestion, why you say no?
Because it's dependent on the player.
Yeah, but even 1,000 people can play. The result is already dependent. Only the dimension of the game will have a result as different players. The game can never come out of its dimension. Right? You're a computer lad. Absence of satsang makes one in tamogun. Absence of satsangs make one in tamogun. So what you know in satgun, in tamogun you always know the opposite of that. So in Satgun you would have known that any game created has limits. In Tamogun, opposite of Satgun, which is limit, you will know that now games have no limits. Alright? This is Sanatana Dharma, absolutely scientific. Even I can whack a devotee through science. So, through and not insult. Science, absolute. I can prove my whacking to you scientifically. You see? Where you'll get a satsang like this. So you have not met our own. We have, I think you met him before, but I want to introduce you to him. Like how India has all the rishis in the mountains. Here on this mountain of the Sri Narayan Dham, we have our own rishi. Right? And you're seated in the same row. You should be absolutely honored. Right? Coming back, when Hemita transcribes, I don't go into a lot of jokes because she will transcribe the jokes. So when Vishwadhar transcribes, then I go into jokes, and you know he's a serious young man. Jokes aside, all right, really aside, he'll only give you spiritual science transcriptions. Okay. So coming back. So when this meter is inserted in your mind through the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it also comes with your accumulated karma. And that accumulated karma of your previous lifetime will dictate how this game in your mind is played. How this game in your mind is played. Alright? And then I said, this game starts when you press the button and time kicks in. Time kicks in. Now let's see. Every second or every millisecond, there's an action in this game, yes or no? It just depends which button you press and what reaction you're going to get. That reaction is already computed in this game, second per second. And through various permutations, depending on which lever and how long and you press your control buttons, you will have a result. But that result will be per millisecond. So every millisecond, there is a result already in permutation which you will derive by playing this game. Are you understanding? So that creator has created that specific result, has he not? And that result is proportional to time, is it not? Which means from the time you press a button, for every millisecond, there's a result. Alright? Created by the creator who programmed the game. Isn't? Now, the difference between the game and the human machine is that the reason for the game being programmed in a human being is the human itself. And the programmer, to make sure that this game goes according to program, sits in your soul. The programmer, to make absolutely sure that this game do not move 1 millimeter in its dimension or 1 millimeter off in its time, this programmer sits in your souls and he drives your action through this game called life. Are you understanding? So that you can never go astray of the game. The programmer is absolute. Programmer is absolute. The game of life is absolute, and he divides himself into as many humans there are and make sure that each player in this game plays this game according to his past karma. So this game is programmed by your past karma, motivated by the 3 gunas, whose source is Mother Nature, and Mother Nature is the mode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Are you understanding all of this up to this state? So in your mind is this green needle called the mind. Alright? In your consciousness is this green needle called the mind. So in proportion to your time, when you are 0 to 1, 0 to 1, if you do not attend satsang like baby, no karmic reaction. But if the parents did not bring the baby to satsang, finish her? Baby is set free, parents are punishable. Parents are punishable. Now, isn't that time? 0 to 1, baby, no karma. Baby's mind, whatever oscillation the mind takes, she is karma free. Mother and father saying, let's use the baby as an excuse and not attend satsang. Acharya ji will understand. But Lord Narayan, in the soul of the mother and father, saw the absolute truth. And the Guru don't create the balance sheet for the mother and father. Who creates it from inside the soul? Can you see? My last week's discourse was there's no way out. Alright? As soon as you go home, go on YouTube and hear Guru's last week's discourse. Alright? But then I'm saying, and all our headings and subheadings are stating very, very boldly, material science is catching up with spiritual science, which is absolute. And for those that's hearing this discourse, and those that's going to be subsequently reading and watching or hearing this discourse, there will be a sense of relief now. There will be a sense of relief in understanding your own instruments within you. In understanding your own instruments that's within you in relation to yourself, to your children, to your employer or to your employees. When you look at all of these relationships now, after this discourse, you will have compassion. You will have compassion, Nilandri, when your daughter does not clean her room. Okay? We'll end up with that. Remind me when Guru is about to say suggestion, and I want to show Nilandri how she don't have to scream at the top of her lungs and disturb 500 people in the flats that she's sleeping, that they're living in, she can quietly now go and clean her daughter's room on behalf of her daughter. Alright? Tiveshni is very happy. Somehow Tiveshni wins. She is able to convince the Guru timelessly. She even changes Lord Narayan's mind, who is absolute. Alright? Tiveshni has the fourth guna in her. Alright? We don't have, but Tiveshni has the fourth guna, special guna that Tiveshni was born. Rishi is hoping for the fourth guna, so he can spend a whole lot of time in material spirits. Okay? So let's come back now and take a total understanding of the three gunas. Alright? So when you get up in the morning, you find some people are very, very happy, they're in a good mood, they talk in sensible. Alright? And then 2 hours later, from sense to nonsense. Same person got up so nicely, spoke so sensibly, and then 2 hours later, same person, nonsense. And another 2 hours later, they'll tell you, they'll twist the whole story and give you an opposite version of what they said in the morning. Let's examine that now. Let us examine that. So this needle called the mind is fluctuating all the time in acceptance and rejection. So it's in constant movement, alright? At that point in time, through your karmic computation, you was in Satguna. When you spoke, sense, truth, you was loving, you was compassionate, you was remorseful, you was in Satgun, and that Satgun was computed by your previous karma for you to have that 2 hours of Satgun on that particular time. Then your karma impelled the mind to go in Tamogun. The karma impelled your mind to go in Tamogun. That impulsion of the mind in Tamogun was already computed when this disc was inserted in your consciousness at birth. What's the date today? Sita, are you still with the Devis and Devatas, or are you back on planet Earth? Because, yeah, on planet Earth, it's a 9. I don't know in your dimension, on the higher planetary system, what the date is, alright? So it's a 9. So on the 9th of February 2020, alright, although Sukh and Pranisha was in Rajogun and Tamogun, it was their destiny to be in this satsang at this time, today, which is in Sattva. Do you understand? I'm just using this two as an example, alright? But are you understanding? So every second, your mood can change. Same person, cool, calm, collective. So, you understand? Same person, whacking you. Who, Soaks? Who? Then, same person who told you, you are the greatest, you're the great provider, there's no greater provider than you on this earth, tells you that you're the worst provider, you don't provide. Who? From Satgun to finish our, we're using hypothetical examples. Please don't take this personally. Right? So, same person from Satgun to Rajogun to Tamogun. because it was computed. And Lord Narayan is making sure that it happens that way, so nobody can escape. Nobody can escape. Each person, there are two games. The universal game and the individual game. The universal game and the individual game is in perfect synchrony. The universal game and the individual game is in perfect sync. And only God can create that. We can give any scientist the entire 311 trillion, 40 billion years to live. He'll never create a game in perfect sync with the entire population, with all the living entities in any given universe, of which we have countless. He'll never ever be able to create this perfect synchrony. And this perfect synchrony is governed by three modes of material nature called Satgun, Rajogun and Tamagun. Are you understanding? All of you understand? So I'm looking at Tiveshni just before I finish. When Tiveshni does not clean her room, Nilendri will answer, in what guna she is? Tamas. Because all those people who don't clean their room, who don't comb their hair, no matter how big brush you can carry, Tiveshni, the bigger the brush doesn't mean to say your hair is combed. Tiveshni had to come all the way to the Sri Narayan Dham at 10 past 10 this morning to comb it. Right? In the mode of tamas, so the mother will feel sorry now. No, it's not my daughter's fault. Her karma from a previous lifetime is making my daughter do all these things. And a mother can feel compassion, because Tiveshni's mother can take a hot iron and beat her daughter. Now Tiveshni, as I said, she's as a fourth guna with her. She can use now this example and just sit down her whole life and say, Ma, it's my karma from my previous lifetime. She can tell that to her school principal. She can tell that to her father. Maybe from today she might stop doing homework. Alright? But let me inform you, Tiveshni, that if all those things that you do, your next life you'll be born in a country where there is no food, scarcity of food, scarcity of water, and scarcity of education, alright? You might not know your two parents, you might be an orphan. Because Lord Narayan is where? Inside your soul, witnessing all your cons, all your plots, all your everything that you do, Tiveshni. So in this life you can bluff mommy, you can bluff the guru, you can bluff the teacher, you can bluff daddy, alright? Vasudeva daddy. But next life when you're born, you'll see no mother, no father, no guru. And you look around you, all tribal people with big stomachs like there's no food inside. Alright? You understand? So there's no way out. Whatever you do in this lifetime is your game in next lifetime. Are there any questions? Are there any questions, Dana? So if you stupid in this lifetime, so
How can we change that?
Okay. So God has created the Guru system. And the only changer is the Guru system. So when you join a Guru, the Guru see in which guna you are vibrating in. The Guru sees which guna you are vibrating in. And if you vibrating in Tamogun, then the Guru will give you activity in the ashram. Rajogun is also activity. Alright? You come from a state of sleep and laziness and ignorance. We shake you into activity by giving you various chores around the ashram. Planting, cleaning, wiping, sweeping, doing all types of work. So you come from a state of deep ignorance into activity, but that activity is in the ashram or temple. Reason being, from that activity, we make you evolve into Satagun. Then when you are in Satagun, it's not enough. That's why I don't have a whole lot of devotees, because I practice what I preach. When you fail in Satagun, alright, I'm going to show you, so she wasn't here, alright. So when we bring you right up to Satagun, you still governed by material nature, aren't you? Because Satagun is a component of material nature. When you are in Satagun, you'll remember that you was in Tamogun, then you came to Rajogun, and then you came to Satagun, because in Satagun you have perfect, true memory. You are in perfect enlightenment of all these stages when you came to the Guru. So when you on Satagun, so your relationship with the Guru, how will you describe it? Absolute, and you will give testimonies around the world and to everyone that you meet how great your Guru is. How great your Guru is. You'll even give your own discourses. You'll even give your own discourses, alright? Because you are in Satagun, you in the presence of your Guru, and you are in an ashram, and the consciousness in the ashram is in Satguru. To Suddha Sattva, which is out of the three gunas and in absolute purity. So this is your dimension when you are in Satgun. Alright? So those that want to remain in Satgun, those that want to remain in Satgun. Let's go back now to the tennis match. Let's go to the tennis match. You have an opportunity to be a winner all the time. So if you want to be a winner all the time, then you must follow a Guru all the time. This practice of following a Guru all the time by submitting your will to the Guru will keep you in the dimension of Satagun to Suddha Sattva. So in relation to the tennis match now, there is latitude for one side of the two that's in the tennis match to be a winner all the time. There is a program there. You have individuality that you can master this game and be a winner. And at the end of this game, if you're a winner, you'll go to the Creator. You'll go to the Creator. Then, whilst you are in Satagun, you become proud of the knowledge that you have gained from the Guru. And you become complacent in the knowledge that you have gained from the Guru and the position that the Guru has given you. Guru gives various people positions, and you become, when you become attached to the happiness of the knowledge that you have, and when you become attached to the position that the Guru gave you, attachment only exists in Rajogun. Attachment, although it starts in Sattvagun, it falls into its own component. So this is why I gave you that meter. So you was full red, then you got attached to the knowledge that the Guru gave you, and you got attached to the position that the Guru gave you. Then you start falling into a mixture of Rajogun and Satgun. Then the Guru has eyes to see this attachment. So the Guru will either in a satsang like this or call you personally and tell you that you have slipped, you are in the wrong dimension. Please improve your dimension. Depending on your attachment, if it is more Rajogun than Satgun, and one of the products of Rajogun is Pranisha, you tell me. Anger. One of the products of Rajogun is anger. Alright? So when you get angry, then now you are fully in Rajogun. You are fully in Rajogun, and now you become selfish, because Rajogun is all about you. Satgun is all about everyone else. Rajogun is all about you. So you was in Satgun. Yes, you serve people. We have video evidence of all of this discourse that I'm giving and this explanation that I'm giving to Sukhs now. We have videos of all of this in our own lab called the Sri Narayan Dham. Alright? So you'll see somebody go out on video and say, my Guru Acharya Sham Ramanuj is the greatest in the universe. Alright? Then that same person, when that person dropped because of attachment, because in Sattvagun you can get attached. Because that person drops through attachment in between Rajogun and Tamogun, and because the Guru is your teacher, your Guru wants to see you evolve, not devolve. And as soon as you devolve, the Guru has a right to rein you in and tell you that you are here, now you are lowering yourself spiritually, please fix A, B and C so you can come back in full Satguru. All of you understand? Then those people, Sukhs, in after anger comes delusion. After anger comes delusion. What's the meaning of delusion? When you can't see things straight, that means you can't see the truth for what it was, and which guna sees the truth in the opposite way? Tamogun. So that same Guru, which was a bona fide Guru in Sattvagun, that same Guru who was your everything in Sattvagun, that same Guru who you went and told the world how he helped you, how many miracles were performed on you, and how your life became glorious. In Tamogun, that same person will now tell you that that guru is a fake guru. Your life never became glorious, and those were not miracles performed. Because Tamogun is the opposite of Satagun. And can you see how we have practiced this in our own satsang, and we got our result in our own satsang? Because as soon as people leave this satsang, then others ask, this man was so close to you, Guru. He should come and eat right next to you, Guru. He wrote so many great poems about you, Guru. Now he's calling you a fake Guru. You understand? Because from Satagun to Tamogun. When we find you in Tamogun, we ask you to stop drinking, stop smoking, stop swearing, stop fighting. All these things are in Tamogun. Then we raise you to Rajogun. Then in Rajogun, I have a very, very huge experiment, but I'm not going to explain, sorry. In Rajogun, the greatest exponent of anger, I subdued that greatest exponent of anger in Rajogun, and I'm not mentioning names, all right? Then that exponent came in Satgun, and I'm very, very proud, because if I can change one, I have done my job as a Guru. I never come to change millions. I must just change one, and I did change one. You understand? So we raise you from a barbaric state in Tamogun, alcohol, drinking. These are all animalistic states. All right? We bring you to Satagun. In Satagun, you leave drinking, you leave smoking, you leave swearing, you leave everything in Satagun. All right? When you crash, after the Guru warned you, where do we find you? We find you back in alcohol, we find you back in drugs, we find you back. And I'm saying this publicly. All those devotees that came here, that fell through from Satgun, we see them on social media, having big parties, drinking together, smoking together, and eating meat again. Who was bona fide and who was fake? Do you understand? All of you understand? I just want to read one verse from the Bhagavad Gita before we close. So I read up to verse 3 last week. Chapter 14, the Sri Ramanuj Gita Bhashya, and the heading is Divisions According to the Three Gunas. Verse 4 states, whatever forms are produced in any womb, O Arjuna, the Prakriti is their great womb, and I am the sowing father. I'm going to read it again. Whatever forms are produced in any womb, O Arjuna, the Prakriti is their great womb, and I am their sowing father. Let us, in conjunction with my discourse today, all right? So Lord Narayan is stating that whether you're born in a cat, rat, rabbit, ant, in any womb of any living entity, that is his prakti, his mode of nature, and he is the creator. He is the creator. Now let's bring it back here to my discourse of today. That game that you are individually playing today, God gave you the computer program, you programmed it, and He's making sure that the game is being played by the program individually, and also the impact in the universal game. Can you see this verse, what it is stating? That you, in your previous lifetime, as per your karma, gave him a prescription in which he computed the game as per your prescription, which you are playing today, in whichever womb you are. So if you're a tree, you computed yourself to be a tree. And if you are seated here today, filming the Guru, both of you, then you computed. Okay? Now the only technician that can change your game, who has power of attorney to change your game that was created by God as per your instructions, either knowingly or unknowingly, is the Guru. Is the Guru. So I answered all questions. Sugeshan, you happy with that answer?
Yes.
So you're in Sugeshan's language, alright, the Guru is a technician because he's a computer, he's involved in computers. But please don't call me tech. You have to call me Acharya Ji, or I'll kill you. Alright? Are there any other questions? Jai Shriman.
Jai
Narayan.